But let's see if we can push this on up until 10 o'clock. And hopefully we'll get all things good and going until that time. Welcome to the show. I apologize for being late. I had quite a bit doing, and the results are that I am running a little late tonight. But welcome to the show, and I trust you'll stay with us until we have to bring the curtains down at 10 o'clock. Thank you so much for all that you do, and I trust that you will hang on in there with us. Thank you so much for those of you. Sheffreen, I'm not so sure what's happening. I'm not seeing anything on the YouTube channel. Not at all.
Yeah, you're live on YouTube.
Yeah, but I'm not seeing the screen at all. It's a blank screen on my end. It's a blank screen on my end. I'm not so sure what's happening.
Refresh the page.
Huh?
Refresh your page. I can see you on YouTube. So refresh it. Hello, viewers. Thanks for joining us. Just give us a moment. We're just working through some technical difficulties. Thank you for being supportive. We'll be right back.
On. That's it. I think we're on now, Sheffreen. I think we're on. Okay. All right. There is much to talk to you about. The church has gotten involved in the matter concerning the Prime Minister, Dr. Wheatley, and the Integrity Commission. A popular apostle, Mr. Shuttleworth, from the Tarrant Baptist Church, made some comments, and I want to share those with you.
If you ask me, the Prime Minister should have resigned long ago.
Listen to him. That is Mr. Shuttleworth. Let me see if I can just fix this. Yep. Let me see if I can fix it and get Mr. Shuttleworth speaking up.
And if that had happened, if you ask me, the Prime Minister should have resigned long ago.
That's the position of Apostle Shuttleworth from the Tarrant Baptist Church, suggesting that the Prime Minister should have resigned long ago. So the church is not only demanding the resignation of Dr. Wheatley, But they are also suggesting that the Prime Minister should also resign. Listen to the apostle again.
And if that had happened, if you ask me, the Prime Minister should have resigned long ago. And
what a fascinating country. What a fascinating state of affairs. You know, someone sent me a piece of tape. My producer is joining me. Give me a minute. Let me see if I can find it for you. I wonder if I can play this. Good evening to you, moderator. Hi.
Hi, neighbor. Good night. How are you?
Not bad at all. You know, Caroline. There's a lady who's kind of related to me. She's celebrating 103 years old today.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 103. So I was at the party for a little bit.
Well, happy birthday to her, neighbor.
Yeah, no. Well, quite an accomplishment. And it just started, and I left it to be here. And they were very disappointed because I was providing entertainment from the studio and all of that. But I had to come to work because this is my job, and I take it very seriously. So I just want to apologize and to let you know that I left a birthday party for 103 years old. As a matter of fact, I could show you in the studio here the liquor and the cake and all of that. I have some nice rum.
Oh, well, neighbor, please don't let us get into any trouble with TikTok, please.
No, not at all. This is Starbucks. This is coffee.
Oh, I see.
I may have to do a long shift tonight. What do you think?
I hope not.
No. We close it out at 10 o'clock. I promise you when you come back home, we're gonna have to do a long shift. I want you to give me a little time tonight because I want to get into the Bible to show you why Apostle Shuttleworth is wrong in asking for the Prime Minister.
Are you having church tonight, neighbor?
No. The church, a member of the church in Jamaica is calling for the Prime Minister's resignation. And
oh dear.
And also Dr. Wheatley. And I wonder, my friend, I don't know how do you get things from TikTok to Facebook? How it happens? I'm not a techie, How you send it?
I think you share it.
Share it to let me see now. Share it. I don't see any share come up here. Forward. If I forward it goes to TikTok. I'm not so sure. Share. Okay, I don't know. I don't think I can. I wonder if I can play. Okay. I think I maybe hit.
Neighbor, you press that white arrow at the bottom.
White arrow at the bottom, yes.
And then you will see Facebook pop up.
Okay, no, I don't see it. What I see is maybe my phone is a little shabby, so I don't know. Anyway, I think I'll get around.
Okay.
Okay,
well,
I wonder if I could send it to you, and you have it played for me. Because you could have, could I send it to you?
No, neighbor, send it to Shafreen.
Okay. All right, but I would need it on my system. On my system. All right, I'll do that tomorrow. Don't worry. I'll do it tomorrow. Don't worry about it. I have enough content to carry me through. Yeah. Anyway, what time is it now? What time is it now? What time is it in the UK?
It's 1:39.
Oh God. 1:39. Oh my goodness gracious. Anyway, thank you so much for staying up, and looking forward to sending you off to your bed at 10 o'clock. All right?
Well, don't thank me, neighbor. Thank Brazil. They just finished their game, so I was up watching it.
Ah, what was the result?
3-0.
What they play? You know, I haven't watched one of the matches so far.
Well, you're not a soccer fan, neighbor.
No, I am not. Can I tell you what type of fan I am?
Yeah, cricket.
No. No, I can't discuss it with you on air.
I see. I prefer not to hear, neighbor, please. Good evening, listeners. Thanks for joining us. Could you please tap the screen, share the live, repost the live, send us heart me's, and keep the comment section active here on TikTok. And for those of you on YouTube and X, good evening to you. Please like, subscribe, and share. Okay, neighbor.
By the way, Caroline,
show.
we have a fantastic set of analysts, you know, Scratchy and Harry and the other, I'm forgetting the other name. What a fantastic group of young men. Astute. Yeah.
Yes, neighbor.
What a
Really,
great
they are.
what a great team, the Politics Plus team.
Well, neighbor, not to mention the women behind you.
Yes, well, they're before me. They're beside. They're beside me. We don't put women behind
you
us.
are outnumbered by them.
We
There's
don't put
6 of us, neighbor.
Yeah, we don't put women behind us. We put them beside us. Wonderful, Shafreen.
I see.
Big up yourself. All right, thank you so much.
Of course, listeners, please repost, tap share, send a heart me's, and keep the comment section very active for me, please. Thanks much.
All right. So listeners, Apostle.
If you ask me, the Prime Minister should have resigned.
Apostle Jeffrey Shuttleworth made these comments.
If you ask me, the Prime Minister should have resigned long ago. And if that had happened, then the weekly situation that we're having, that would not be an issue because he would have had to step aside too. And then there are others before them, but I'm just using this current situation. But if you constantly have a situation where leaders are cited to run afoul of the law and they remain in office.
Or, you heard that? Fascinating. Fascinating. Now, I want you to juxtapose that comment by the apostle of the Tarrant Baptist Church with Everald Warmington. Everald Warmington is a very senior member of the Jamaica Labour Party, member of the Electoral Commission of Jamaica. He's the member of parliament with the highest number of votes. Everald Warmington gave an interview to TVJ. Fascinating. Listen to it.
Jamaicans don't believe in them. Jamaica don't listen to them.
Jamaica don't believe in them. Jamaica don't listen to them. Warmington?
Why do I say so? It is known that they are biased in whatever they are doing.
They are biased in whatever they are doing. It is known, Mr. Warmington said. Meanwhile,
Trying to
Mr. Shuttleworth.
If you ask me, the Prime Minister should have resigned long ago. And if that had happened, then the weekly situation that we're having, that would not be an issue because he would have had to step aside too.
How do you juxtapose these positions from the church and from a senior member of the Jamaica Labour Party. How do you do it? Is it possible to do? Let's listen a little bit more to Mr. Warmington.
They wrote this nonsense. Nobody knows if it's correct.
Mr. Warmington calls it nonsense. He calls it nonsense.
Okay? So,
no stranger to being the odd man out, a JLP MP has come to the defense of Dr. Andrew Wheatley, who has
What's up, guys? Check out this video.
who has been recommended for corruption charges following a report by the Integrity Commission. The MP argues that due process must be followed. Jamaica Maitland reports.
Member of Parliament for St. Catherine Southwestern, Everald Warmington, has come out in support of the embattled government minister, Dr. Andrew Wheatley, following a damning Integrity Commission report. The IC's report recommended that 4 charges be brought against Dr. Wheatley, chief among them illicit enrichment.
does it sell credibility? Jamaicans don't believe in them. Jamaicans don't listen to them. Why is this so? It is wrong. But they're biased in whatever they're doing.
Mr. Warmington, who's been a strong critic of the commission, argues that the agency is targeting the government members of parliament.
They never see anything that is said by the other about the other party in the time at all. Secondly, everybody is innocent and they're proven guilty. Okay? They wrote this nonsense. Nobody knows if it's correct. Okay? So
It's correct, though.
no, they don't. What they're saying about with that activity, we know those things are correct. They can write anything. Dr. Wheatley, give him a chance to prove his innocent.
Mikel Phillips was fined a late fee by the Integrity Commission for missing.
All right. So there you have Mr. Warmington suggesting due process. And the church is condemning the Prime Minister and Dr. Wheatley on allegation. I am a member of the church. I am part of the church. The church condemns on allegations. And Mr. Warmington says due process. You know, Apostle Shuttleworth, Apostle Shuttleworth, I will, please, listeners, work with me and bear with me. Christian ethics, you see, has always balanced 2 equally important principles: accountability for wrongdoing and fairness towards the accused. The problem arises when accountability is pursued in a manner that abandons fairness. Apostle Shuttleworth, you are wrong. The presumption of innocence is a Christian principle. Because the core principle of justice is that accusation is not guilt. And if the apostle is not being fair, and Apostle Shuttleworth, you have your own story, you know, sir. But that is not what we are going to talk about. You have your own story. because you had a case yourself.
Asking everyone to repost the live, tap the screen, share the live, keep the comment section active, and I'm asking for 10 RBs, please.
You had a case yourself, Apostle, with the Jamaica Baptist Union. Did you not? You had a case, Apostle, with the Jamaica Baptist Union. Would you like to share how you defended yourself? And why Jamaica Baptist Union defrocked you? It's public knowledge. It's all over the news. The fact that an investigation exists or that a report has raised concerns does not automatically establish culpability. Dr. Shuttleworth. If leaders were required to resign merely because of an allegation, you could not be at the church. Because there are allegations against you. Accusations themselves would become instruments of political destruction, and we cannot run a country where accusations are instruments of political destruction. That is nonsense. And the Bible is very clear, Apostle. The scripture is clear on it. Jesus said in St. John 7:24, do not judge according to appearance. That's what Jesus said. St. John 7:24, Dr. Shuttleworth. Jesus said, do not judge according to appearance, but judge with righteous judgment. This command is not to avoid judgment altogether. The command is to ensure that judgment is righteous, that judgment is fair, and that judgment is based on facts rather than assumptions. Similarly, the Mosaic law, the law according to Moses, required multiple witnesses before a person could be condemned. 2,000 years ago, that's how it was. More than 2,000 years ago. If you read Deuteronomy 19 verse 15, the Bible says, one witness shall not rise against a man concerning any iniquity or any sin that he commits. By the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, a matter shall be established. Sound like I am preaching. You hear that, Apostle Shuttleworth? One witness shall not rise against a man concerning any iniquity or sin that he commits. By the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses shall a matter be established. Deuteronomy 13:15. The principle here is profound. According to the Bible, allegations alone are insufficient grounds for condemnation. It's not me say so. It's the Bible said that. And if you're going to be a preacher of the word, Apostle Shuttleworth, you have to preach the undiluted word. Because the gospel backs up the principle of natural justice. So when you are calling for the resignation of the Prime Minister, on what grounds? On what grounds? It's not on the grounds of the Bible. One of the most striking examples is Jesus and the woman accused of adultery. In St. John 8, the crowd was prepared to condemn her immediately. She was caught in the very act of adultery. Caught in the act. What was Christ's response? He was not responding to abolish accountability, but to insist that judgment be exercised carefully and honestly. In St. John 8, verse 7, Dr. Shuttleworth, Jesus made these profound words and statements. He said, and I say them to you, Mr. Shuttleworth, he that is without sin, let him first cast a stone. He that is without sin, let him cast the stone. Mr. Shuttleworth, you are not in any position to condemn anyone. You are not in any position, Apostle, to condemn anyone, neither you or I. Humble yourself. And if you're going to ask for a resignation, ask for your own. You first resign. The lesson is that wrongdoing should not be ignored. It is that human beings should exercise caution before declaring another person guilty. Caution. Apostle Shuttleworth's argument appears to suggest that once a leader becomes the subject of an investigation, resignation should follow. The difficulty with that position, Apostle, is that it conflates investigation with conviction. And if this principle were universally applied, you could not be in that position. You would have to resign. Any minister could be removed through repeated accusation. Political opponents could weaponize complaints, as the PNP have done. Public confidence would become dependent upon allegations rather than findings. Justice would then become driven by suspicion instead of evidence. What are you talking about, Pastor? What are you talking about? Quite frankly, Apostle, I am disappointed. I am very disappointed in you. Because you have the privilege of a microphone and you claim that you are an apostle and a prophet and you are prescribing injustice, Pastor. You are prescribing injustice. How is that godly? How can a man of God be prescribing injustice? How? How do you do that? And you do it in the name of the Lord? Come on. Get yourself together. Because the Christian understanding of justice requires due process. The Christian understanding of justice requires due, D-U-E, process. Even God, who is omniscient. And omniscient means that God knows all things. Omnipresent, omniscient. is repeatedly portrayed in scripture as investigating matters before rendering judgment. The Bible said we shall all stand before God on the judgment day. Why are we going to stand, Apostle Shuttleworth? To be processed. Before we are judged, God will establish a process before he condemns us. Apostle, if you are prescribing conviction before process, then that's not Christian. That's not because God lacks knowledge. God doesn't lack knowledge, but because the scripture emphasizes the fairness of divine judgment. I want to issue a caution to Apostle Shuttleworth. It's 8 o'clock. I want my listeners to hear again what he has said, and I want to issue a caution to him.
If you ask me, the Prime Minister should have resigned long ago.
Share, please.
If you ask me, the Prime Minister should have resigned long ago. And if that had happened, then the weekly situation that we're having, that would not be an issue because he would have had to step aside too. And then there are others before them, but I'm just using this current situation. But if you constantly have a situation where leaders are cited to run afoul of the law and they remain in office trying to defend themselves, then the entire process becomes compromised.
I want to issue a word of caution to Apostle Shuttleworth. And I do so respectfully. Christian leaders have a responsibility not merely to condemn, but also to model fairness. The same Bible that condemns unjust rulers also condemns false judgment. In Proverbs 18 verse 13, the Bible says, he who answers a matter before he hears it, it is folly and shame on him. Take out your Bible and read it. I want to repeat that. Leave the Prime Minister alone. Leave Dr. Wheatley alone. They deserve their day in court. As you, Dr. Apostle Shuttleworth, and everybody can go and read the case you had, you are being unfair. Proverbs 18:13, he who answers a matter before he hears it, it is folly and shame to him. And again, in 1 Timothy 5 verse 19, the Bible says, do not receive an accusation against an elder except from 2 or 3 witnesses. You hear that? Don't I hear it? That is what the Bible said. The Bible said, don't hear it. If a one man come tell you, say, me thief, don't hear it. Don't listen to him. It must be from at least 3 persons. Only one institution have so far made an accusation against Dr. Wheatley. Not 2, 1. And you, an apostle, is calling for the Prime Minister's resignation. The principle to me is clear. Hear the matter fully before reaching conclusions. Therefore, if Apostle Shuttleworth is asserting that Prime Minister Holness and Minister Wheatley ought to be treated as guilty merely because investigation or report exists, then such a position would sit uneasy with the Bible's concept of justice. That is a false teaching of Scripture, Dr. Shuttleworth. That's not what the Bible teaches. Christians are called to oppose corruption, but they are equally called to uphold fairness. Justice is a Christian principle, and you don't condemn a man on an allegation. Due process is necessary, and the presumption that an accusation remains an accusation until it is proven. A balanced Christian position would be this: investigate thoroughly, follow the evidence wherever it leads, hold your leaders accountable if wrongdoing is established, but do not substitute allegation for guilt. My time is almost over. Let's listen again to Member Warmington speaking to TVJ on the matter.
Why do I say so? It is known that they are biased in whatever they are doing. They wrote this nonsense. Nobody knows if it's correct. Okay? So,
no stranger to being the odd man out, a JLP MP has come to the defense of Dr. Andrew Wheatley, who has
What's up, guys? Check out this video.
who has been recommended for corruption charges following a report by the Integrity Commission. The MP argues that due process must be followed. Jamaica Maitland reports.
Member of Parliament for St. Catherine's Southwestern, Everald Warmington, has come out in support of the embattled government minister, Dr. Andrew Wheatley, following a damning Integrity Commission report. The IC's report recommended that 4 charges be brought against Dr. Wheatley, chief among them illicit enrichment.
Integrity Commission, does it still have credibility? Jamaicans don't believe in them. Jamaica don't listen to them. Why do I say so? It is known that they are biased in whatever they are doing.
Mr. Warmington, who's been a strong critic of the commission, argues that the agency is targeting the government members of parliament.
They never see anything that is said by the other about the other party in the time at all. Secondly, everybody is innocent and they proven guilty. Okay? They wrote this nonsense. Nobody knows if it's correct. Okay? So
It's correct, though.
no, they don't. What they're saying about with Dr. Wheatley, they can write anything. Dr. Wheatley, give him a chance to prove his innocent.
Mikel Phillips was fined a late fee by the Integrity Commission for missing the deadline for filing his statutory declarations. Ian Hales' matter was referred to the Commissioner of Police to investigate further for forgery. When our news team contacted the Corporate Communications Unit at the JCF, no one was aware of any active investigation. Unlike Dr. Wheatley, neither opposition MPs were investigated for illicit enrichment. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness acknowledged the detailed report, but
In the meantime, now, based on the allegations that you see, do you think it's appropriate for the minister to step aside?
Is he guilty of anything? Himself. If it came from somewhere else, maybe, but not from the Integrity Commission. It has no credibility.
Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness acknowledged the detailed report by the IC, but says he too has confidence in Dr. Wheatley. During an interview on Nationwide News Network, the Prime Minister said he's to meet with Dr. Wheatley on Monday, June 22 to discuss the report. He did stress that there were no charges yet brought against him. Almost a week after the report was tabled in the Parliament, checks made by our newsroom revealed that Dr. Wheatley has not been charged. As of Tuesday, June 23, our news team understand that Dr. Andrew Wheatley is still part of Cabinet. Jamila Maitland, TVJ News.
Jamaicans don't believe in them. Jamaica don't.
There you go. So then there is a massive divide. And the suggestion from Mr. Warmington is that the IC has no credibility. Now, it is interesting, you see, that in that interview where the Prime Minister was asked whether or not he has any confidence in the Integrity Commission, the Prime Minister did not commit to saying that he had confidence in the Integrity Commission. Now, when a Prime Minister of a country is unable to say that he has confidence in an institution, that institution is compromised. Plain and straight. The Prime Minister is the head of the government. The confidence of the Prime Minister is absolutely necessary for the good functioning of an institution like the Integrity Commission. And now you have a parliamentarian, a very senior one in Mr. Warmington, suggesting that the IC is biased. Now, the Prime Minister have no confidence. His most senior, or one of his most senior parliamentarian, very well respected in the Labour Party, Everald Warmington, says they're biased. Nobody listens to them. Then where is the integrity? It therefore means that integrity is under trial. Integrity is under trial. Now, what the dickens is integrity? What is integrity? What does integrity mean? The word integrity comes from the idea of wholeness, not wholeness, WHOLNESS. Integrity means wholeness. Integrity means consistency. Integrity means moral soundness. In everyday language, integrity means that you do what is right, even when nobody is watching. The question I want to ask my listeners tonight is the Integrity Commission doing what is right? Let's examine that. Are they doing what is right? Because if they are not doing what is right, they are not the Integrity Commission. They are something else. Because integrity must be consistent. Is the Integrity Commission consistent? Are they morally sound? Are they whole? WHOLENESS? Let's examine the facts. There are leaks down at the AIC. Leaks. That's not integrity. There are leaks at the IC. That's not integrity. Does the Integrity Commission have any integrity? Is the Integrity Commission compromised? And if it is compromised, what are we going to do? When you have people like Apostle Shuttleworth banking on the reports from the Integrity Commission, based on Mr. Warmington, we don't even know if the reports can be trusted. There is a crisis here. Let's break it down a little bit more for you so that you understand. You don't get higher than the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister was asked, do you have confidence in the Integrity Commission? The Prime Minister virtually said no. Well, he didn't say no, but effectively, he didn't say yes. It's either you have confidence or you don't. And if your confidence is questioned, that means you don't have confidence, because confidence is not half or three-quarter. You either have confidence or you don't have confidence. And the Prime Minister of Jamaica does not have confidence in the Integrity Commission. Plain and straight. And just in case you think the Prime Minister does not have support, listen again to Warming.
Jamaicans don't believe in them. Jamaica don't listen to them.
Mr. Warming said Jamaica don't believe in them. Jamaica don't listen to them. Now, who is Mr. Warmington speaking for? I have 300 people listening to me here on TikTok. That's who I can see. There probably is another, I don't know, maybe 400 on the For You. I don't know how many I have listening to me on YouTube. May I ask you to put in the chat whether you have confidence in the Integrity Commission? You are Jamaicans. You are listening to all of this. Do you listening to me? Do you have confidence in the Integrity Commission? Let's take 5 minutes and see what the people listening to me will say. Shafreen, if there is one person over YouTube
asking everyone to repost the live.
Yeah, if there is one person at the YouTube who said they have confidence in the Integrity Commission, I'd like to know. Let's see how many people listening to this program tonight have confidence in the Integrity Commission. No. Lulu said no. Bob, no. Pleasant night, neighbor. We're taking the vote. Blackie says no. No way. Tammy, no way. I haven't seen anybody say yes yet. No. Beverly Williams, no. Okay. No way, Spider says. All right. Sandra Bennett 606 say yes we have. Well, there's one person there. Yes we have. Now who is we, Sandra? Now Sandra, would you please join the chat and come up and let me talk with you a bit? Let's just talk with you on that. Would you be prepared to do that, Sandra? I'd love to talk to you about it. No, hell no. Almost 90% so far have no confidence. So then, Mr. Warmington is reflecting.
Jamaicans don't believe in them. Jamaica don't listen to them. Why do I say so?
So Mr. Warmington is reflecting the views of the Jamaican people. Now, if the Jamaican people don't have no confidence in them, the Prime Minister don't have no confidence in them, the majority of the members of Parliament in Parliament have no confidence in them, what the dickens is preventing us from scrapping this organization and starting over again? The IC at this point has lost its moral. it cannot continue. The IC cannot continue in this form. It cannot continue. I'm going to ask you, please. I cannot take any calls. I cannot take any calls tonight, please. I'm sorry.
Asking everyone to repost the live, tap the screen, send the heart knees, and keep the comment section active, please.
Yeah, thank you so much. There are leaks coming out of the IC. That's not integrity IC. That's number one. And the leaks coming out of the IC, they don't go to the JLP. Somehow, for some mysterious reasons, the leaks that are coming out of the IC don't go to the Jamaica Labour Party. For some reason, is only PNP get leaks. That's not integrity. There should be no leaks. But if there are going to be leaks, at least give it to both sides. Why is it? The Prime Minister said, for some reason, the PNP know what is happening more than him. Is that integrity? Huh? Is that integrity? During the election, the IC reports were weaponized against the Prime Minister and his party to the point where journalist George Davis, in one of his pieces on This Morning, Nationwide This Morning, What's on My Mind, said that there was an institution in Jamaica that was seeking to interfere in the outcome of the election. And reports suggest that it was the IC, that the Integrity Commission was seeking to interfere in the democracy, the democratic will of the Jamaican people was at risk by an institution paid for by the... Don't take no more of my tax dollar sent down there. I mean, you know, me no want no more of my tax money sent down to that institution. We cannot fund it in the state. It cannot be funded. It is the existential threat to our democracy, and it must stop. What is happening here is rubbish. This is foolishness. The Prime Minister must have confidence in the institution that has, you know what the IC does? You know what the IC does? You know what the role of the Integrity Commission does? The Integrity Commission, you see, is Jamaica's principal anti-corruption body. The mission of the IC is to combat corruption. They combat corruption through the development, implementation, and enforcement of anti-corruption laws. The Commission is responsible for investigating allegations of corruption involving public officials. The Commission is responsible for examining statutory declarations of assets, liabilities, and income filed by parliamentarians and other prescribed public officials. The Commission is responsible for monitoring government contracts and procurement processes. The Commission is to develop and promote codes of conduct and ethical standards for public officials and refer matters for prosecution where evidence support criminal charges. The Integrity Commission did not emerge from nowhere. It was created under the Integrity Commission Act and became a consolidated anti-corruption institution by absorbing and replacing several older oversight bodies, including the Commission for Prevention of Corruption, the Office of the Contractor General, the Parliamentary Integrity Commission. The idea at the time was that corruption oversight had become fragmented. Instead of having several agencies with overlapping responsibilities, Jamaica created a single institution with broader powers and greater capacity to investigate wrongdoing. What does that mean? It means that the public administration of integrity means honesty in public office, freedom from corruption, avoidance of conflict of interest, transparency in decision making, and accountability for the use of public resources. An Integrity Commission is therefore not merely an agency that catches criminals. It is an institution intended to protect the ethical character of public life. Its existence is based on the assumption that power tends to corrupt unless it is subject to scrutiny. John Locke argued that no public official should be the sole judge of his or her own conduct. But the Prime Minister expresses no confidence in that institution. What should happen? And Mr. Warmington ratchet up a little further today, or yesterday, by saying that Jamaicans do not trust them. Do not trust them at all. I think that we need to pause and ask some questions, because no democracy can function without strong accountability institutions. Public officials, especially prime ministers and cabinet ministers, must be subject to scrutiny and investigation where legitimate concerns arise. But accountability and fairness are not competing principles. They are complementary principles, not competing, complementary. An investigation that lacks fairness weakens confidence, not only in the outcome, but in the institution conducting it. And the prolonged matter involving the Prime Minister has now reached a stage where serious questions must be asked about the process. You can't investigate a man for 4 years. The Prime Minister's term is 5 years, and he's under investigation. Lock down this thing. Get the Prime Minister certified. You cannot have a man under investigation for 4 years. It is unfair to the Prime Minister, and the Prime Minister is well within his right to lack confidence in such an institution. That's not justice, that is injustice, as a matter of fact. As a matter of fact, I am very disappointed with my Jamaican brothers and sisters. Very disappointed that you have all treated your Prime Minister in this way. Your Prime Minister who saved lives during COVID, the man who has been responsible for creating the most jobs in Jamaica, the Prime Minister responsible for saving hundreds of Jamaican lives. When this Prime Minister took office, Jamaica was bleeding. Doff cut and Medaris. Oh, this Prime Minister has trapped the nation on his back. Mark Carney spoke of being on the menu. On the menu. A nation battered and bruised. Losing its soul, its women and its men, its children, hopeless. The murder capital of the world, more indebted than most countries. He inherited a nation in distress, strung out on the operating table, about to take its last breath. Cancer had eaten out the fabric of the society, and we were all but dead. And now me say so. Peter Phillips, in one of his speech, said that he would not wish for any other finance minister what he had to go through to get Jamaica a little money to borrow. A nation broken and on its knees. 300 years of colonialism. 300 years of colonialism. 40 odd years of mismanagement and corruption. Andrew Holness inherited a nation sick and about to take its last breath. But like any good doctor, he assessed the situation and gave us a chance. We were on the menu, boxed about, kicked about, lost our sovereignty. I hear the Prime Minister in his own words questioning whether or not Jamaica is a sovereign nation. Where is sovereignty? And you treat him like this? The man who has put food on your table, you treat him like this? Gotten you a job, you treat him like this? All of you who have gotten social houses, this is how you treat him? We are an ungracious nation. We're not a grateful people. We are not a grateful people. And if we are not careful, God will not judge us kindly. This man has done well for his nation. He has done well for his country. And he deserves the best life. If he has a few shillings from his hard work, he deserves it. And for 4 years, this man is under investigation and they have weaponized it against him. You wicked PNP. You wicked. All in the pursuit of power. All in the pursuit of power. No man should have to go through this. No man should have to go through this. Accountability and fairness are not competing principles. They are complementary principles. An investigation that lacks fairness ultimately weakens confidence, not only in the outcome, but in the institution conducting it. Tonight, Jamaica is at a crossroad. Crossroad. The Prime Minister is off the island. And when the Prime Minister returns, the Prime Minister needs to put this matter of the Integrity Commission squarely on the table. Jamaica must have a conversation about it. Jamaica must have a conversation about the future of the Integrity Commission. Not because the Prime Minister himself is under some amount of... As a matter of fact, the Prime Minister is under no investigation. The Prime Minister case closed long time. Them just hold on to the Prime Minister case, because the longer they hold on to it, the more the political opponents will have something to say about the Prime Minister. Tap and share for me. You are so enthralled by the conversation that you wouldn't even tap the screen. Come on. I'm going to have to take a break to give you a chance to say something in the chat. Hashtag hello neighbor. Hashtag 1 p.m. Hashtag integrity. Let's run this thing tonight. Eh? Let's run it. We need a conversation.
Listen, you must keep the conversation active to keep the live active. So please continue to send the heart me's, tap the screen, share the live, please.
Yeah, we getting inactive messages. Come on, guys, on TikTok. We don't want them to shut us down. The fundamental issue is not whether the Prime Minister should be investigated. Public officials must expect investigation when they arise. It was the Prime Minister himself who piloted the bill for the Integrity Commission. The Prime Minister is not against investigation. He don't have nothing to hide. The Prime Minister is not under any investigation. The Jamaican Prime Minister is not under any investigation. The IC is playing politics. Lego the report. The issue is whether any citizen, including the Prime Minister, should remain under an unresolved cloud of suspicion for years. Can't have the man under a cloud, man. You can't have the Prime Minister of the country under a cloud, brethren. What can't go so? Let the man report. You can't have the Prime Minister of a country under a cloud for 4 years. This is no fear, guys. Neighbor rights, this is no fear, man. I'm Mark Golding. They call you integrity boss. You are no integrity boss. Golding, you are no integrity boss. Because if you were an integrity boss, you would have spoken up and said, no, this is not right. But guess what? It suits you politically. Because you have one eye upon Jamaica House. Not so. Integrity boss me. That is only Pellucid Perry thinks so. Only Mr. Pellucid Perry thinks so. I call upon Jamaicans to demand answers. This nonsense must stop. It must be brought to an end. We're not taking any more of it. And if something will come out of this in the next couple of days or so, we have to strategize. Neighbor rights, we have to go sit down and put our head together and find out what going on. Because we not give up on this matter here. If we have to come here so on this little channel every night and demand answers, injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere. No man is an island. No man stands alone. Each man as my brother. Each man as my friend. The injustice that is done to you is an injustice to me because humanity is one. And if you take off your political hat tonight, you would have to say, neighbor, I agree with you. You cannot investigate a man for 4 years. That's not right. It is unfair. unresolved cloud. There's a cloud, the proverbial cloud over the Prime Minister's head. Remove the cloud, man. It's the worst piece of injustice that's ever been done to a Prime Minister of this country. The best Prime Minister. Siaga was good, but Holness is better. I don't know about Patterson. I don't know how to judge him. Portia, she never had the competence. Bruce, he never had the time. Michael Manley, a bit of a wreck. And there's a cloud over the Prime Minister's head. For what? Look at his performance. You know, this nation has a problem. We do. We do not know how to measure success nor good leadership. And we tend to judge our leaders based on our experiences. But let me tell you this. There are many countries in the world that would be very happy to have a Prime Minister like Andrew Holness. As a matter of fact, you know, Keir Starmer has just resigned as the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Their 7th Prime Minister in 10 years. Have you listened to Mr. Holness spoken in recent times? Have you? Have you listened to Mr. Holness speak? Dr. Holness is a brilliant man. Dr. Holness is a brilliant man. As a matter of fact, apart from Nigel Clark, I don't see anyone in Jamaica that is half as brilliant as Andrew Holness, you know. Andrew Holness is exceptionally talented. He's an exceptionally talented man. I don't know Mr. Holness well, you know. I've only studied Holness as part of my preparation for this program. I prepare myself to come on here. And I have looked at a lot of leaders across the world. I think he could rank up right up there in terms of ability. And here is Jamaica wasting him. Uno we sorry, you know. Uno we sorry. Tande. Now realize, say, God has gifted you all with one of the finest human beings in your history. Tandede. You know, I think it was Marcus Garvey who said, "Uno na go know no self till uno back is against the wall. Uno na go know no self until uno back is against the wall." I've always said, as a student of history, that 1989 was a watershed moment in Jamaica's history. Watershed. Because in 1989, had Mr. Siaga gotten a 3rd term, I wouldn't be here tonight having this conversation with you. I would not. I'm telling you that. And had the people of Jamaica given Eddie Siaga another chance at government, all of you tonight, when I have no water and no pipe, could have had water all I want tonight on the road bad. On the road with a fix. All they mark it and then clinic. And Jamaica would have been a better country tonight. Ask me, I tell you that. Tell you that. But somehow we want to go, you know. I don't know what is this love affair with the PNP. I don't know what it is at all. I wonder if I Obia. You think I Obia? I don't know about Obia. I don't know what love affair this is. I hear Mr. Ian Hales. I hear Mr. Ian Hales in the parliament talking about the PNP is the party for the poor. Mr. Hales, you're talking rubbish. The PNP is no party for the poor. How could you be the party for the poor and you had unemployment where it was? How could you be the party for the poor when your government presided over the greatest transfer of wealth from the poor to the rich? How? You're talking nonsense, Mr. Hales. I get to that. Fairness requires that allegations be investigated thoroughly. It also requires that investigation be conducted efficiently and concluded within a reasonable period of time. A process that drags on indefinitely risks becoming punitive in itself. In other words, the time frame becomes punishment in of itself. Do you know, have you heard about the Pratt and Morgan case? The Pratt and Morgan case? Well, let me tell you, it was a landmark case that they brought to the Privy Council. And the ruling of the Privy Council was that you can't have a man on death row for so long and don't carry out the execution, because the man being in the process of that is almost like the time that you have him there is punishment itself. Okay? You cannot do that. It's a punitive punishment. Reputations can be damaged. Public confidence is eroded and political narratives can become entrenched long before the final findings are reached. In the case of the Prime Minister, the political consequences of prolonged uncertainties are obvious. His uncertified status becomes a major topic of public discussion. These half-wits on the channels. The PNP bloggers are having a field day discussing the subject. And this is precisely why due process matter. A person should not effectively serve a sentence in the court of public opinion. And what we are doing in Jamaica is wrong, where people are being asked to serve sentences in the courts of public opinions. Fairness demands that investigations move with sufficient urgency to avoid unnecessary reputational harm. 12 minutes to 9 o'clock. Let's listen again to Mr. Warmington, and then we're going to go to the calls. Moderators, please. I only have an hour left.
Jamaicans don't believe in them. Jamaica don't listen to them. Why do I say so? It is known that they are biased in whatever they're doing. They wrote this nonsense. Nobody knows if it's correct. Okay? So,
no stranger to being the odd man out, a JLP MP has come to the defense of Dr. Andrew Wheatley, who has...
What's up, guys? Check out this video.
Who has been recommended for corruption charges following a report by the Integrity Commission. The MP argues that due process must be followed. Jamaican Maitland reports.
Member of Parliament for St. Catherine Southwestern, Everald Warmington, has come out in support of the embattled government minister, Dr. Andrew Weekly, following a damning Integrity Commission report. The IC's report recommended that 4 charges be brought against Dr. Weekly, chief among them illicit enrichment.
Integrity Commission. Does it still have credibility? Jamaicans don't believe in them. Jamaica don't listen to them. Why do I say so? It is known that they are biased in whatever they're doing.
Mr. Warmington, who's been a strong critic of the commission, argues that the agency is targeting the government members of parliament.
They never see anything that is said by the other about the other party in the time at all. Secondly, everybody is innocent and they're proven guilty. Okay? They wrote this nonsense. Nobody knows if it's correct. Okay? So
It's correct though.
no, they don't. What they're saying about with Dr. Beatley, who knows those things are correct? They can write anything. Dr. Beatley, give him a chance to prove his innocent.
Mikel Phillips was fined a late fee by the Integrity Commission for missing the deadline for filing his statutory declarations. Ian Hales' matter was referred to the Commissioner of Police to investigate further for forgery. When our news team contacted the Corporate Communications Unit at the JCF, no one was aware of any active investigation. Unlike Dr. Wheatley, neither opposition MPs were investigated for illicit enrichment. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness acknowledged the detailed report, but
In the meantime, now, based on the allegations that you see, do you think it's appropriate for the minister to step aside?
He can do anything himself. If it came from somewhere else, maybe, but not from the Integrity Commission. It has no credibility.
Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness acknowledged the detailed report by the IC, but says he too has confidence in Dr. Wheatley. During an interview on Nationwide News Network, the Prime Minister said he's to meet with Dr. Wheatley on Monday, June 22 to discuss the report. He did stress that there were no charges yet brought against him. Almost a week after the report was tabled in the Parliament, checks made by our newsroom revealed that Dr. Wheatley has not been charged. As of Tuesday, June 23, our news team understand that Dr. Andrew Wheatley is still part of Cabinet. Jamila Maitland, TVJ News.
Jamaicans don't believe in.
There you have it from Jamila Maitland from TVJ News. Now, when you add that to the FID letter,
County examiner,
it brings the matter to even more seriousness. Listen to Mr. Hughes as he made the comment on his program yesterday on the IC and FID.
more than $30 million spent hiring a forensic accounting examiner. Extensive research by the IC itself. You draw a blank. You decided that, no, you're going to go further now. You're going to send it to the FID. The FID has come back with this. And you're asked by the attorneys for the target of your investigation. Say to the Jamaican people, what is the FID's position? And you refuse to do that. You simply seek cover to hold your head down with a sentence the matter is still under investigation. That's a problem, a big problem. And that is why half of the country has lost confidence and trust in the Integrity Commission.
Did you hear Mr. Warmington? Let me play him again, because it's not only Mr. Hughes who are saying that, it's Mr. Warmington to listen.
Jamaicans don't believe in them. Jamaica don't listen to them. Why do I say so? It is known that they are biased in whatever they're doing.
So Cliff Hughes is saying half Jamaican don't have no confidence in the IC. Mr. Warmington is saying the very same thing. One would expect that Mr. Hughes is an independent journalist. He's not a politician, but he says, half Jamaica, no confidence in the IC. What the dickens are we waiting on to lock down this place? We have to come again. We have to come again. Institutions that lose confidence in the public. When the public loses confidence in an institution, that institution cannot continue. Institutions gain their legitimacy by the public's confidence. And at this time and this day in our life, the Integrity Commission has lost confidence, the confidence of the Jamaican people. And I don't see how it can continue without our confidence. Let me take my callers. It's 5 minutes to 9 o'clock. Good evening to you, caller. Good evening to you, caller. Please, if you're going to come up here and be quiet, don't make no sense. Let's go. Who do we have? Who do we have?
We don't have anyone on this side, Neighbour.
Oh my God, we have so many people over here though. I don't know what is happening to your end. Good evening to you, Barry.
Hey, Neighbour, what's up? How are you doing?
Barry, nice to talk to you. How are you?
I am doing well, Neighbour. I have about 6-7 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, we can use that. But Barry, help me to unravel this. The confidence of the Jamaican people shaken here. The Prime Minister himself is not expressing confidence in the IC. How? Oh God, man. What are we going to do? How can this institution remain open?
Neighbour, I think what happened, the Prime Minister would have said it very well, The Integrity Commission is really a good institution. And the idea behind the institution was good. But what we find is that it was infiltrated by a group of political activists who I'm not sure how this happened, but they have sought ever since to malign and undermine and character assassinate members of the Jamaica Labour Party using the cloak of the Integrity Commission. The Prime Minister says is that the Integrity Commission really needs some restructuring. It cannot continue in the same vein because it is clearly a very biased organization. And it's seeking to bring down the government. The PNP has not been able to bring the government down by using the ballots. And so they have used the media, they have used the social media, they have used all kinds of allegations, they have used corruption, they have used everything, and now they tried the Integrity Commission, it didn't work. And now they're actually going back to the Integrity Commission. And Neighbour, that is something that as Jamaicans we need to rise up and speak about.
Yeah, I agree. But here we are tonight. Barry, an institution costing, your background is a little noisy though, please.
It is?
I think so. There's some things happening there.
I mean, so I'm actually on a work site, so.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's really probably what to do with machines. Yeah.
Yes. The people of Jamaica funding this to, I think, more than $2 billion per year, and we don't have any confidence in it, Barry. You know, see something have to stop here, so no, man.
Neighbour, and the question is, Neighbour, is the Integrity Commission only remit politicians?
Only what?
And that's the question that I wanna. Is their remit? They only remit politicians?
No.
Because what
No.
what you find is that the only
Moderators, please
what you find is that the
see
only
if you can
time
reconnect Barry for me. No, it's really distracting.
it's distracting. Wow. Am I sounding any better now, Neighbour?
No, we can't. No, it's killing us here, man. No, we can't deal with that. I mean, guys, please, we have to try and see if you can reconnect him for me, no, with a better connection. It is not. We're not hearing him at all.
Am I sounding any better now?
Hello. No. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work at all. Let's move on. You hear, guys? Let's move. Barry, join us another time. You see when you have better. Let's go to Scratchy. Good night to you, Scratchy.
Good night, sir. Good night, Mr. Neighbour. Night, astute and everyone. Blessed night.
Scratchy, we're back on this matter tonight because Mr. Warmington has come out today. Mr. Warmington is a very well-respected member of the Jamaica Labour Party. Has the largest number of votes in the parliament. And Mr. Warmington is saying that Jamaicans do not trust the IC. Echoing what Cliff Hughes said yesterday about the Integrity Commission. Scratchy, we can't continue like this. If an institution loses trust, the people's trust, the trust of the government of Jamaica, how does that institution continue to be legitimate?
Good question, Neighbour. But definitely time, Neighbour. I agree with Mr. Warmington 100%, Neighbour. Jamaicans have no trust in the IC, Neighbour. Important institution, Neighbour, that it starts, Neighbour, with the awesome powers as the IC, Neighbour. You cannot be playing games, Neighbour, when it comes to conducting your duties. And definitely, Neighbour, no more time need to be spared, Neighbour. The IC need to be disbanded, Neighbour. The IC needs to be reformed. Every single worker who holds any form of investigative position, managerial position, Neighbour, they all need to go because the IC is fully contaminated from the head down to the foot, you know? It's not like it's a one-person thing. And I said this before, Neighbour, and I will continue saying that the past head of the IC, Neighbour, it is definitely clear, Neighbour, that person still have his agenda being driven by whoever is there now. Even though that person move and someone that replaces him, Neighbour, we are not seeing the narrative change. The same agenda that new person has taken up. And it's pushing because you're going to an organization that was already contaminated and persons there who know the agenda and they just brought her into it, or it has been done without her knowledge. So the IC needs to be disbanded, Neighbour. Wrap up the IC and come again. First, it's Neighbour from its inception, poorly passed bill, Neighbour. A bill, Neighbour, at the time, Neighbour, I think it was more done to make Jamaica look good on the international scene than really to look at the intricacies, Neighbour, and the possibility and look at how this bill, Neighbour, can easily overthrow a government or put any member of the government in a type of allegation against them. So a bill, Neighbour, that really needs to be looked at, Neighbour. I think the government, I think the Prime Minister in particular, Neighbour, and the government, Neighbour, must take the bold step, Neighbour, the bold approach, Neighbour, by not don't care what civil society is going to come out and say. Don't care, Neighbour, what any media groups is going to come out and say, Neighbour. The bold step that needs to be taken, Neighbour, is for the IC to be called before the committee that is responsible for it, Neighbour, and it to be stripped and it be rebranded, Neighbour, boldly and loudly, Neighbour. Now, because you're investigating the government and members of the government, it doesn't mean that our hands are tied, our hands are barred, and we're going to see you guys overstepping your boundaries. And we step on, Neighbour, is me, and any of us never can sit and talk. It's the members of the government, Neighbour, in terms of the Prime Minister, Dr. Weekly, and all the other members of the opposition, and whoever, who come in cross here with this organization, Neighbour, feels and know the true testimony, Neighbour, of what this organization is doing, Neighbour. They need to wrap up, and the government needs to take that bold step. The government needs to take that bold step. The government don't take that bold step, Neighbour. They're going to allow the Integrity Commission, neighbor, to continue to let Jamaicans pass allegations against them, and they're going to continue to let the media and other persons, neighbor, ask member of parliament and ministers who are duly elected to step aside, neighbor, because of the ICC this and the ICC that. A bold step need to be taken. No, the government might be afraid right now. I might be a bit timid in taking this approach because of how delicate the situation is, neighbor. But drastic time call for drastic measures, neighbor. And serious measures that need to be taken right now is for the government to put IC before the committee that is responsible for it, neighbor, and amendments and changes be made, neighbor, to that organization.
Let me ask you this, Scratchy. The Prime Minister, based on reports, has been under investigation for 4 years. That in and of itself, Scratchy, is very unfair, because a lot of what you hear online from these PNP bloggers is as a result of the fact that the Prime Minister remains uncertified because of this process. The very fact that the head of the government can be going through this process for so long a time adds to the lack of confidence in the IC. And the IC have basically said nothing about it.
Neighbor, it's clear as day, neighbor, that if you're an investigative body or an investigative organization, neighbor, you are carrying out any form of investigation, neighbor, about someone, neighbor, in terms of their finances, neighbor. And if after 4 years you still can't find that person guilty, you can't find anything to say that, okay, this is really, this person is going wrong, or this is what the person is doing wrong, neighbor. It is clear as day you don't have a case. It is clear as day you don't have a case. And what you're doing is fishing and mudslinging, hoping that the further you dig or the further you go out there, you dig, you might book up on something that might suit your intentions. But at the same time, you're putting the person's life in a spot where you're allowing this person for public allegation to form against them. You're allowing these persons to speculate and call these type of persons or type of names that is not best suited to persons like a prime minister. So you're creating something from a psychological standpoint that is much bigger and much greater than the investigation that you're trying to carry out. So it goes to show, neighbor, that after 4 years and you can't find the prime minister guilty after 4 years, it is time to wrap up. Or it is showing, neighbor, clear negligence on the side of the IC, that the IC, neighbor, don't have the skill, don't have the equipment, neighbor, don't have the tool, or don't have certain things to carry out any investigation. Because if it is taking you 4 years, using up how many resources, how many funding that $1.30 million was spent, and then you talk about international auditor by pretty, you know, me. You can look until we find out, say, over a little small Trinidad, you go get one auditor firm from and pay $30 million to, and then come make it look like it's any big. So it goes to show, neighbor, that the IC, neighbor, has lost its wits, neighbor. The IC is not, neighbor, doing what's in the best interest of Jamaicans. And the IC need to wrap up, neighbor, and let go the Prime Minister, neighbor. They have hold on the Prime Minister for a very long time. They try to use the IC to weaponize Jamaicans against the Prime Minister in terms of making their choice at the polls in the last election, and it didn't work. And they're still trying to do it, neighbor. They're adding to the high tension, neighbor, and the high intensity that we're seeing in the political landscape. Is because of the IC has a lot to do with, neighbor, with this lingering investigation around the Prime Minister. That is also one of the things why the political landscape is so tribal and so active right now, 7 months or 8 months after election. It is because of the deafening silence that is coming from the Integrity Commission.
A member of the church today was suggesting that the Prime Minister should resign, Scratchy. Any comment on that?
Yeah, but remember, the church, neighbor. All the days, neighbor, when the church used to speak as one, neighbor, when it was one voice, you know, the music or whatever was coming from the church, neighbor, was from one accord, neighbor. Now, neighbor, we have seen where our clergy, neighbor, becomes so political as well, neighbor, where they know bold, you know, they can see the bold biasness, the clear biasness in what they call for some time and stuff like that, you know. But I don't penetrate these pastors, neighbor, when they come out against the Prime Minister, neighbor. The last one I saw in a clippings, neighbor, who spoke against the Prime Minister, neighbor. I'm just right down the ground, neighbor. So
That's all.
Yes, neighbor, the last pastor I see talking against the Prime Minister, neighbor. I'm just right down there is Dr. Chang. as a medical doctor to run to his rescue. So I don't listen when these pastors talk, neighbor. I just know that these pastors are talking from a political standpoint, neighbor, and not from a position where the church, neighbor, persons or members of the church want to hear from, neighbor. So I don't take them serious, neighbor.
Okay. Astute?
I'm here, neighbor.
What you say about the church's position on this matter?
It is quite ironic, neighbor, that first of all, the church is having opinions on state business when the church and state should be separate entities. However, even by the very mandate of the church, if you are to hold any form of position on a matter, it has to go by the natural law of things as well as procedural fairness. And that was not established because so let us look at the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister was not suggested that for charges to be laid. So on what basis would the goodly apostle, and I don't know about this apostle thing because the last apostle was the Apostle Paul, but we'll work with it. The goodly apostle now posits that the Prime Minister should resign. Why didn't he resign when he was allegedly brought forward to apparently try to steal the church?
All right.
So no, that is not hearsay. That is public knowledge.
Yes. But don't bring that. Leave that alone.
However, I digress.
Yes.
However, the point I'm making, neighbor, that even by his own standards, he should not be in his position.
Yes.
So what is he saying? What is good for the goose must be good for the gander.
Yes.
So what are we doing? Anyways, neighbor, as they are saying, he's out of his depth. He's, in my opinion, this is not neighbor's. Whatever I say, neighbor does not own or stand liable for it. My own opinion is this. He's out of his depth and he doesn't have the authority in any way, morally or otherwise, to cast any aspersions against the Prime Minister, because the Prime Minister was not brought before court for anything. As a matter of fact, according to Tom Tavares Finson, the IC is operating illegally under the IC Act because the Director of Corruption Prosecution did not suggest that charges be laid. Yet still, their findings were sent to Parliament. It was tabled in Parliament. So what are we here still talking about? It goes back to your point that us as taxpayers, we need to stop funding the IC. As a matter of fact, the government need to stop taking us our money and send to the IC because they're misappropriating taxpayers' money. You do your investigation because the IC is an extensive body with their own arm of investigators. They went in, they didn't find anything, they weren't satisfied. They then went to an external forensic. Noticing a forensic, it means that they would have at every touch point that money moved, whatever transaction that they, from it reached the hand to it goes into a purchase or whatever, they would have tracked the movement of those funds. And yet still, the DCP did not say charges to be laid. They still were not satisfied. They sent it over to the FID. We know what the FID said in their letter, and yet still they're going to say they're still investigating the Prime Minister. For what? Under what heading? It makes no sense, neighbor.
Fantastic. Let me go to Member Harry. And Member? Member Harry? He's not there. Hello? Member Harry? All right, let's see if we can touch back to Scratchy. Isn't part of the problem that the government will face the politics of this, where whatever attempt they make will be seen by the other side as being political?
I'm definitely spot on, Neighbour. That is why the government is taking the approach the government is taking here, because the government can understand, Neighbour, that it cannot be heavy-handed. It has to tread lightly, Neighbour, in this situation, because yes, the government is the executive. It is members of the executive who is being investigated. So certain people, Neighbour, it might don't look good for the same members, for the same executive who is being investigated, Neighbour, to try to come with them with any overall and try to change up any form of the process, Neighbour. But the thing that the government has going on its side, Neighbour, is that it is clear as day, and any well-thinking Jamaican, Neighbour, can see that, Neighbour, whatever changes the government should orchestrate it would not be done, Neighbour, from a point of bias, or from a point, Neighbour, where the government is trying to make themselves look good. It is clear as day that the Integrity Commission needs changes, Neighbour. If anybody didn't believe it, all along in time, other members were saying that the IC is corrupt, Neighbour. The FID did not come out publicly and use the word corrupt, Neighbour, and say that the Integrity Commission is corrupt. But if you notice the language, Neighbour, of the FID letter, Neighbour, that was sent to ID, Neighbour, it was a strongly worded letter, Neighbour. In terms of, Neighbour, in terms of how the IC, at one point they were talking about how the IC conducts its investigation, Neighbour.
Yes.
The word mediocrity was used, Neighbour. You know? And again, Neighbour, it is talking about best practices that is used around the world. So it goes to show, Neighbour, that if the Integrity Commission, Neighbour, is not using best practices, Neighbour, that is used around the world, Neighbour, as well as its mechanism, Neighbour, in regards to its investigation, it is clear as day then that you are using system that is in your own personal best interest and not in the best interest, Neighbour, of transparency. So, because I just want to say, Neighbour, that government hands might be tight, Neighbour, but there will be a point in time, Neighbour, where the government has to make that bold decision. And I like to talk about, Neighbour, when government have its opportunity and its chance, Neighbour, when government can make certain mistakes.
Which is now in the first year of the new term.
And the government, Neighbour, still enjoy the luxury, Neighbour, of that grace period, Neighbour, where the government can make certain unhealthy choices, Neighbour, certain choices that might not be politically right or politically correct, certain way, Neighbour. The time to do anything is now. Get it over with, me, government. Fix the IC from now, government. Get rid of these people. Call them before the committee that is responsible for them. Questions. Get to the FID. If you don't believe the Cliff Hughes report, find out if it's possible where FID could make this report available to the Parliament. Because if this is true, this is serious allegation being made against the Integrity Commission.
Yes.
You like FID to publish this letter and let Jamaica know this is true. Did you say the IC is mediocrity in this level of investigation? Did you say they're not using international best practices to carry out their investigation? Come out, FID, and let Jamaica know what's going on. And then now you can call them before Parliament, because FID is a trusted organization. And you can call them before Parliament now and ask them these questions. Because this organization that we're giving $2 billion a year to carry out serious investigations against elected officials. And you have such as a man to get charged of illegal enrichment. And you are telling me that your next investigative organization said that in past case your approach was mediocrity and you're not using international best practices. I don't know, Neighbour, if the FID was a part of this whole thing with Dr. Wheatley, Neighbour. But it is clear as day that the FID wasn't a part of it, Neighbour, in the inception of the Prime Minister's investigation. And I don't see, Neighbour, how a next organization can be committing or carrying out any investigation in regards, Neighbour, to any monetary investigation. And the financial investigative division of the country is not a part of that investigation. The law needs fixing. IC cannot just do these things on its own. The Integrity Commission, Neighbour, is too powerful where they alone, Neighbour, can sit and go through numbers and based on information and things that they request from you, from an individual, and based on the individual passing back those things to them neighbor, they're going to decide based on their own personal feelings, not per law. Because the IC did not charge Dr. Illicit based on anything that has to do with the law. It's their own personal feelings. We were not satisfied with the response that was given to how for the balance of funds that he couldn't get account for. Who is IC? Whatever power was given to IC, if the IC can say they are not satisfied with the response that was given. Neighbor, IC need to really no organization apart from the court of the land can have them power there. In terms of branding someone for illegal enrichment, that is something serious. Serious.
Let me pull you back. Let me pull you back a little bit, Scratchy, because when the head of the FID was to be appointed, the PNP led protests against it. I want my listeners to follow me. They were in Hero Circle and they were in Old Harbor. The PNP brought out senior members, retired members, including John Jr., Peter Phillips, Omar, I don't remember if Omar Davis was there, to protest, Scratchy, the appointment of Dennis Strong. You remember that?
Yes, Tim, I remember that.
Which means that the PNP have a problem with the FID head, because it couldn't have just gone away like that.
Neighbor, everything now is adding up, neighbor. We can see it clear as day now, neighbor, that the main reason why the PNP, neighbor, had a problem with Dennis Strong appointment, neighbor, as head of FID, neighbor, was the mere fact that Integrity Commission had referred the report, neighbor, and made referral to the FID in regards to looking into the Prime Minister's finances.
Yes.
So the PNP had a big problem with that, neighbor. Now, we want to make it clear as day, neighbor, that that Mr. Chung, neighbor, said that when he reached the FID, neighbor, he personally asked not to be a part of the investigation into the Prime Minister case.
Yes.
He's not briefed on it, and he's not a part of it. So whatever is being said or whatever is being done now, the appointment of Mr. Chung has nothing to do with it.
Well, the point I wanted to make to you is that here is the government led by the Prime Minister, not... Guys, you have to mute those. I don't know who this is talking here. Michael Bower. Hello? Okay. The point is, Scratchy, is that I want the listeners to understand the politics of this, and this is where I know you are very good. The Prime Minister is suggesting he doesn't really have any confidence in the IC. Mr. Warmington, a senior member of the government today, says we don't trust them. The most senior journalist in the country, Clifford Hughes, say half Jamaica don't trust the IC. So there's a clear established fact that the IC has lost the trust of at least half of Jamaica. But if the Prime Minister or the government should initiate any change to the IC, how do you think the PNP is going to deal with that? Because I don't think the government can single-handedly do it.
I don't know, neighbor. Oh, the law, I don't have the full understanding, neighbor, of the law right in regards, neighbor, to see if the government can single-handedly change it. I don't think something like that the government can single-handedly change it. I think it might be something that, but I don't think that, neighbor, if amendments are being made, neighbor, I don't think, neighbor, that I think it will be a majority vote. I don't know. I think it will be a majority vote. If a majority vote, then maybe the government has the majority vote. But as you say, neighbor, to look good to some neighbor, but neighbor, there's a lot of things, neighbor, that this government has brought forward, neighbor, and the PNP neighbor as opposed to it, neighbor. And we have to understand, neighbor, so when you're in government, neighbor, you have to understand that when you're a government, neighbor, you can't be too concerned about what your opposition party has to say. What you have to more look at is, what is the political price that you will pay for doing this decision? Will this decision cost you an election? Will this decision cause civil society to come out and voice their opinion against you? Will this decision cause the media to be in an uproar? Of course. But it's not this alone as caused it. Even the simplest of things. When we're introducing needs, they were against needs. When we were coming with Spark, they were against Spark. They were against every single thing. So it's not nothing new. We have grown accustomed, neighbor, to the type of opposition that we have in Jamaica, neighbor. A government, neighbor, that opposes every single thing. And there is a change for amendments to the Integrity Commission bill. There's a need, for changes to the amendment of the Integrity Commission bill. Any well-thinking Jamaicans can see it in clear eye. And this is why, neighbor, I tell them, say Jamaica is a country where I know Jamaica is so biased, neighbor. Jamaica is so... The well-thinking Jamaicans and who consider themselves well-thinking Jamaicans and well-learned and intelligent Jamaicans and bright Jamaicans, neighbor, and the subjects, neighbor, that calls for their attention. Because this one integrity commission thing, neighbor, it's not a small man discussion, you know. It's not a small man discussion, neighbor. And the so-called top men and top women in our society, neighbor, they are silent on it, neighbor. They are silent on it. Where's the bar of the legal association? Why don't you hear the bar of the legal association come out and have anything to say? So yeah, okay, I'm not gonna speculate about if whatever was carried out nationwide. If that report is true, then somebody will speak up, man. Somebody have influence will speak up. And it cannot take someone who is in collaboration or someone who supports the Jamaica Labour Party to constantly speak. Because when time we who support the Labour Party constantly speak, that is where it is becoming political. Where are the so-called independents? There's so many so-called independents in our society. And when it comes to the voice on the independent opinion and be fair and factual and set the facts straight from the meat, when the death things silence on the one and all key position in the society, whether on it's in the business or in the private or public sector, all on the silent on this. That's why now gain attraction. Nobody now listen to Scratchy. Nobody now listen to you, neighbor. Nobody now listen to us too. Nobody now listen to Harry. We come on this platform at night time, we talk. But it hurt Integrity Commission. Well, then soon start. Then soon start listening. We're not total different. Yeah, you're right. Total different tax bracket. You're right. Hold on. Astute. On this road to Singapore that we are on, to what extent is this matter going to be an inhibitor to that progress, to that journey? Because how long is it going to take us to fix our institutions? We really can't build without institutions, Astute.
I agree, neighbor. It formed one of the fundamental pillars to the success of Singapore's economy.
Yes.
That institutions of this kind were functioning according to the mandates they were given.
Yes.
And if these institutions step outside of those boundaries, then we, as a matter of fact, we already have ventilated this when we say it is a threat to our democracy.
Yes.
Because again, and I'm just repeating myself from what we've said several times, again, all it takes is a body like this one to make an accusation.
Yes.
It doesn't have to go through the processes that the Constitution outlines. All it takes is just an accusation made, and then calls from civic society and the church for people to resign, and duly elected leaders are overthrown. That is what is called.
Yeah, because imagine what Apostle Shuttleworth is calling for, the resignation of the Prime Minister. Now, let's hypothetically look at that. if the Prime Minister should resign, what on God's earth would happen to Jamaica as you do? I mean, come now. We can't run the country like this.
Neighbor, remember, neighbor, the People's National Party is the mother of scandals. When you speak of scandals, and we didn't even touch on the cost of these scandals yet, but we can tell because hear what Runithwaite, the Reverend Runithwaite said, the greatest transfer of wealth from the poor to the rich occurred under the People's National
Pick
Party.
them up. Pick them up.
Hold on. Yes, go ahead, sir.
This is a Reverend Runithwaite, is a former Minister of Education under the People's National Party government.
Yes.
And if Shark will leave a sea bottom, come up and tell us, fish the down there, you have to believe. Now, I am saying to you, neighbor, that the government who is responsible for the high interest rate policies of the 90s, and I always say this, the government responsible for the high interest rate policies of the 90s, when countries worldwide were growing and booming, saw to it that Jamaica experienced a domestic financial crisis. If they should get their hands on the governance of this country in this time of austerity where many countries are experiencing austere measures, Jamaica would be doomed.
No, you mentioned PNP scandal. Now, the Iran sugar deal, the Rollins land deal, the zinc scandal, the furniture scandal, motor vehicle importation scandal, foreign exchange scandal, land distribution scandal, water commission scandal, Operation Pride scandal, Montego Bay Street people scandal, which was one of the worst scandal in Jamaica. Lloyd B. Smith said that the people of Montego Bay went to their beds with all of the street people on the street. And when they woke up the following morning, Montego Bay was clean. Where the street people them there? They crate them up in a truck. Carry them go left them down St. Elizabeth. Montego Bay Street people scandal. We must never forget. All right. Fat Cat salary scandal. Net Serve scandal. NSWMA scandal. Sandals White House scandal. You remember that one? Too much to mention. Traffic Guru scandal. Cuban light bulb. Finsack. Bad gas scandal. Prickly the dead baby scandal. Chick V scandal. Shell waiver. Skank Don contract to build a wall around Heroes Park just before the February 25 election. Outer many. NHT bailout. Church money scandal. Omar Davis run with it scandal. I can't call them out. It'll take up the whole program. Those are the scandals you're talking about.
Yes, neighbor. I will not even go into the cost because there's a cost associated with each and every one of that, and you haven't gone to the municipalities yet. You know, mention the scandals in the municipalities yet. And this is the government that people are talking. Listen, neighbor. All well thinking. During the election cycle, I remember we were here, in March. And I said, I remember exactly, I said to you that we are going to know if the politics is really changing when we say who win. Because remember, there was a concerted effort to spread disinformation and to spin propaganda. And I've said to you that I want to see Jamaican people are so stupid that them are going to choose a government to show what them do. From the 60s to the 70s to the 80s to the 90s to the early 2000s, they showed us what they can do. And at no point in our history has the People's National Party handled the country's business properly. We saw under their watch thousands of businesses closed, including businesses from the manufacturing industry. We saw thousands of lives lost as a result of those losses. We saw approximately 50% of our GDP being wiped out, and it was not a natural disaster or a pandemic. And that is these are the people, and remember, the same people who were the architects of those times are still in government today. Are still in the parliament today, are still, some of them are MP, and one MP a leader of opposition. So I don't know. I have not forgotten. Maybe some have.
Let me ask. Hold on. Let me ask Scratchy this before I go to protecting Jamaica. Scratchy, you are saying that the political ramifications of correcting this, you think that it will be not injurious to the government and its political chances?
Timing, neighbor. Time is everything, neighbor. See, in politics, neighbor, it's all about timing, neighbor. See, in politics, neighbor, you have to be very... Just like the Prime Minister, neighbor. You see the Prime Minister operate, neighbor. You know when to do certain stuff, neighbor, you know? So, the chess player, he knows how to make certain moves, neighbor. So, timing is very important, neighbor. You can't do something, neighbor, at a specific time, neighbor, and the political response, neighbor, is in your field. Or not against you. And you can do that same thing again, neighbor, at a specific time, at a next specific time, neighbor, and the political repercussion, neighbor, might be one neighbor that costs you falls, you know?
Yeah. Do you think that it would be better if civil society, including a program like this, lead the process and the government response? For example, if civil society should come out strongly to say, let's fix this, do you think that would give the government an opening if pressure start come from the people?
That would be a big advantage, neighbor. And not just pressure start come from the people, neighbor, because Jamaica, neighbor, Jamaica, neighbor, is a country, neighbor, that operates, neighbor, on a level of classes, neighbor. And this integrity commission issue, neighbor, is not something, neighbor, that you're going to see the common man, neighbor, take up on his head, neighbor.
He doesn't. Why?
I want to, because, neighbor, it has nothing to do with his level, neighbor.
Yeah, but it's affecting it's affecting his MP. You know this type of support that Andrew Wheatley is getting, and Andrew Wheatley is from a largely inner city area. I can tell you, there's massive support for him, you know, on the ground.
Yeah, yes, neighbor, there's massive support for him, neighbor, but I'm talking, neighbor, to gain national attention, neighbor. You know, like certain big protests, neighbor, to gain national attention. The common person, neighbor, is not going to come out and these things, neighbor, because first thing, neighbor, the whole understanding of how the Integrity Commission operates, neighbor, the whole language that surrounds the Integrity Commission, neighbor, it's basically like a barrier for the common man. No disrespect to the common man, neighbor. These are not everyday language, neighbor. These are not everyday formalities that the common man understand how the Integrity Commission operates, neighbor, and supposed to operate and move and stuff like that. The intricacies of the Integrity Commission. So when I say that's why I say, neighbor, that this might not be something, neighbor, that the majority of the common man might come out and so persons, neighbor, who have certain influence in society, neighbor, like I said, neighbor, like civil society groups, neighbor, who understand, neighbor, and knows what the Integrity Commission should be, neighbor, how it should operate, neighbor. These are the voices, neighbor, that can call a press conference. These are the voices, neighbor, where media will be ready to run to go interview to hear their point. These are persons who who talk show hosts are going to call to come on their programs to talk about it. They're not going to come to normal common man neighbor to come and talk about the Integrity Commission and amendments that should be made and stuff like that. So it is not, it is deafening silence, neighbor. It is coming from that class or that level of the society, neighbor. Is why, neighbor, a lot of things in Jamaica is not being changed. And we need them to be more talkative. Yeah. We need them to be more robust. We need them to be more, to come out and speak against the issues that are affecting the country. If you should come out and say amendments need to be made in regards to the Integrity Commission, that doesn't mean that you're a Labour, right? That doesn't mean that you're in support of the Labour Party government. That can't even mean that you're a well-thinking Jamaican, and based on what you're seeing, it is clear that some foul plays are clear.
I put it to you, Scratchy, that the FID's letter is going to cause not the panacea, but the catalyst towards change at the Integrity Commission. I put that to you.
Definitely, neighbor. But the FID letter, neighbor.
It will come out. It will have to come out at some point.
Exactly, because I'm going to tell you that let's call a spade, neighbor. There's some section of our society, neighbor, that still have some doubts in regard to the FID letter, neighbor.
Yes.
Because it was broken by a media house and the person who.
And you notice that no other media house has carried that story.
That's where I'm going. No other media house, neighbor, carry the story, neighbor. No other media house side fit, neighbor.
Very strange, eh? Very strange, eh?
Very strange, neighbor. No other media house, neighbor, is looking at it, you know? And it is coming, neighbor, from a station, neighbor, that person, that call a spade again. And that one person, neighbor, brand nationwide, neighbor, is leaning towards the Jamaica Labour Party, you know? So until, neighbor, this letter, neighbor, is made,
are you saying to me that hold on? I don't think the Gleaner is more reputable than Nationwide.
No, but the Gleaner is not more reputable.
But when the Gleaner carries a story,
but the Gleaner is more noticeable and more recognized than Nationwide.
Yes, when they. I tell you the truth. So if it was a RGR, it would be Bible. But Nationwide, no.
Yeah, but if this was broadcast by breaking news and one of those stations, of course it will be running. Of course it will be reaching a higher cross section of the population and stuff like that, neighbor. And reach to the international level and stuff like that. Because the Gleaner, we don't want to admit to that, neighbor, is like they have been around this for a very long time.
Yeah.
You know, they are well known in the Caribbean and outside the diaspora as
Uh-huh.
well.
Well, let me go to protecting Jamaica. I'm at 18 minutes to 10 o'clock. We're gonna have to make this snappy. Protecting. Good night to you, sir. Protecting. Well.
Good night, neighbor. Good night, everybody.
Great, sir. Only have 8 minutes. 8 minutes with you. Protecting Jamaica. Help me with this. The Prime Minister of Jamaica. Virtually not expressing much confidence in the IC. How do you read that? I don't want you to comment on the IC yet, just the Prime Minister's position.
I read the Prime Minister's position from 2023 when I came out attacking the IC when nobody else wanted to. I knew the Prime Minister at the time wasn't pleased, but he could not publicly lambast the IC because as the head of government, and with the institution falling under government, that in itself could have caused a crisis. I think the Prime Minister understands the whole structure of government, and I think he knows that he has to be careful, especially understanding that what the IC is doing now can cause a constitutional crisis in our country.
How?
I think the Prime Minister...
No, explain that for me. How can it?
Neighbor.
Yes.
It is because our people don't understand much. And as Scratchy was making his case a while ago about civil society and at least people who still see them as independent voices. I might say though that I declare my hand, there's no civil society in Jamaica, you know?
No. You don't think that the civil society groups that exist in Jamaica are of any relevance?
They are just part all the groups in Jamaica, when I investigate, they are just PMP members who have retired from the public service and decide that them going to keep JLP feet to the fire. That's it.
Hold on. Oh, isn't that a little, hold on, man. Isn't that a little unfair though protecting?
No,
all of them.
But me know them. But me know them neighbor. Especially the one named Jeanette Calder. She worked in the public sector under the PMP for many years. After she retires, she decides that she's going to start jump.
Yes, and once you work with a political party, you are forever condemned to be biased.
But neighbor, it is what it is. I never see any green shot yet. And before anybody know you, them say I live right because you split down the middle.
I don't know. No. That is not that. That is not true at all. You know, sir.
That's before you declare the hand. Remember?
No, I have not declared. I have not declared any hand at all. As a matter of fact, hold on. As a matter of fact, sir, there has been a major battle on this space here. Who trying to find out who I am. You ask my team. That's not true. Not true at all.
Yeah, but you say you like Siaga, but people will make their own conclusions and things. That's what I'm saying broadly. People will make their own conclusions. So the point is, I know some of these people. I know many of them. Even the one in charge of the NIA now, Trevor Monroe's company, is a devout comrade. These people are comrades, and the country, the people in the society know them.
But isn't that part of the problem, though protecting Jamaica? Because a democracy thrives with an active citizenry, and out of that citizenry, you get civil society groups. These groups are important.
And what we have in Jamaica is we have more than half of the country, as Scratchy say, we're not really in tune with all these issues at a certain level. And so the few people who are in tune with these issues, they decide, the few people from the PMP, they decide that they are going to set up entities that will appear legitimate, as Aluna Samba says, but by and large, they are propagating PMP's positions. And that's a reality we are dealing with. And until we get brave enough to be able to highlight them so that the regular man, as Scratchy mentioned again, can be able to identify that these people are not speaking on your behalf. They're not speaking in your interest. I just learned today that one of the most prominent one in the space, me now call the name, Mark Golden, just finished pay off our mortgage. We have to understand what we're dealing with in Jamaica. And so the IC know what they're doing. I think the IC, neighbor, look how serious this is. A government institution, as George said, was on the verge of effecting a coup in Jamaica, a coup d'etat. A serious business are going on, saying. An institution established by the government was in the process of effecting a coup d'etat. Treason, high treason is in play in our country, where a government institution is attempting to overthrow the same government that established it.
Okay, all right.
A serious matter in the country.
Help us with the position we are at, and help us to point to some solutions. Here we have this institution clearly tainted. Many of the Jamaicans, as expressed by Mr. Warmington and Mr. Hughes, have no confidence in the institution. How does it continue to exist and support going forward?
The current matter before the court, where the Prime Minister is representing his interest, which is his integrity, in good name, he might try to protect. I believe this matter, if the matter is aired, has the potential of bringing this thing, of opening this thing wide open in the public. Reason being, once the matter is tried properly, and there's another risk there again.
Well, yeah.
Because the senior judges in Jamaica is deemed to be leaning in one side. So the judiciary
No. I think we are going to you see the separation of powers. I would want to at least assume that there is a separation of powers existing in Jamaica. In that the judiciary is independent of the political executive. I really
that idea might work now. That idea might work now, neighbor, when there is a strong political interest, and those senior judges who will probably sit on this case will have to weigh the public interest, the national interest, because I tell you, this situation has the potential of causing a constitutional crisis in our country. It is almost at the door of a constitutional crisis. And we have to take it seriously. And what the PMP always play on, is the ignorance of the majority of Jamaican people, Listen to me, to show you how ignorant Jamaicans are. Almost half of those who voted for the PMP. And then we realize that the PMP brought nothing to the table. And we are at risk. The democracy is still at risk, Voices like yours, mine, and others who participate in the public discourse that people listen to will play a significant role right now in this regard. But this matter before the court, I believe what the court is going to do, because you have to provide evidence. So the court is going to ask for the FID statement. The court is going to ask for the $30 million report. The court has to ask for that senior investigator who resigned abruptly, her letter to Kevin Stevenson, telling him that it's unethical and illegal what he is doing. So when the court asks for all of these now, they will have to be laid bare to the public, and then we will understand fully what was at play. No, I know right now, neighbor, I have gotten word that there are negotiations behind the scene concerning some of these things, whether the matter going to continue in court or them just going to go ahead and certify a price if you just get it over and done with. Neighbor, we are on the edge. We're just this close to a constitutional crisis in our country because of one man. And the reason why,
I don't think you have explained the constitutional crisis.
Neighbor, if an organization like the IC is wielding such power, where they can hold the prime minister, the leader of government in your country, literally hostage for going about 4 or 5 years now. If an organization like this, George spoke about it, I was trying to share it before the election. Many people don't listen to me because, as Scratchy says, some people are going to listen to it because we declare we are and we lean one side. That, listen to me, the IC is actively trying to effect a coup, trying to overthrow the government. Treason was at play and still is. And if you are able, as an institution, to overthrow the government by decapitating the leader of the government, isn't that a constitutional crisis? Doesn't that constitute a constitutional crisis?
Absolutely.
The question I asked, neighbor, what are the qualifications of this most powerful person in Jamaica? Yes, Mr. Kevin Stevenson. He's trained in detecting fraud. But isn't it that Section 6(1)(k) and Section 7 of the Integrity Commission Act say that when you take on any investigation we have to do with the finances and financial matters, you must engage entities like the FID and Tax Admin Jamaica? Why didn't he? And when this senior investigator brought it to his attention that what he was doing was unethical and illegal, why did he sought to get her, force her to resign? This is showing intent. It is showing some personal ill will situation going on there. This is not normal. And anybody who sees that as normal, something wrong with them head. No, the PMP will think that this is good because it put a little feather in them cap. But we have to look at the bigger picture, neighbor. This is a country here. We have to be careful what we're doing. And it shows that Comrade Kevin Stevenson has no care and no regard for Jamaica. He has none. And that is why the FID basically was saying in their letter, when you investigate, you shut your mouth.
Yes.
And do your investigation. And when you're done with your finding, then you release your findings. Why are you prompting public reaction to what you're doing? By sending also a report to the parliament, or elicit 6, then elicit 8, or you're investigating this and investigating that, then all of a sudden Mark Golding, Dayton Campbell, and Julian Robinson know what going on. We are not fools, but we must be careful. Democracies are falling right across the world, neighbor. We know better than nobody else. It can happen to it too. We have to be very careful what we're doing. And I do not believe that the Integrity Commission, as is now, is serving the purpose for which it was set up. It needs to be, the act needs to be repealed. And the government needs to be brave and bold in doing this. Repeal it backside. Write over the act. And reconstitute the Integrity Commission. Repeal it. Shut it down. Run with these people. Yes, Jamaica have enough money now. Pay them off. Honor them contract and send them at the yard. We have to be careful. We have a country to protect. And I am sorry if I step on people's corns and I hurt people's feelings. I am protecting Jamaica. Me born country Jamaica because somebody protected it. I am going to play my part in adding my voice to this conversation. And okay, my perspective is not everybody's perspective, but we need to start thinking deep about this thing.
You have a perspective.
The IC brought us close to a constitutional crisis, and I will not take that back. Led by one man, Mr. Kevin Stevenson. We must be careful. This is a country. It's not a little community where Dan control. Who is Kevin Stevenson? You think this is a little community shut away somewhere around one little back bush where one Dan in charge of? This is a country, and we must be careful. Me think the 8 minutes don't know.
Well, thank you, sir. I'm running out of time. Thank you so much for tonight. There's a caller on YouTube. Member Harry, you're gonna have to wrap up for us when I come back. Leon, good night to you, Leon.
Good night, sir. How are you?
Not bad at all. Where you calling from?
I'm calling out British overseas territory. From.
Wonderful, great. Welcome, sir.
Yeah,
Welcome.
I've spoken to you before. I've spoken to you before anyway. So.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, man. But I must agree with protect JA.
Yes.
Protecting JA. This is one of them gentlemen that I look forward to listen to his vlogs when he do them, and he doesn't do them as often as you'd want him to do them. However, probably he might be engaged in other things. So but do appreciate when he does. But tonight is about you, and listening to him, I mean, he's right on the ball. And I come to one conclusion: there has been and there is still a conspiracy in Jamaica to overthrow the elected leader of the country. And it has been going on for a long time. You remember, it started from 2016 when it was his house.
Yes.
And because as a young man, he must not be ambitious, and he comes out of the field. So who dare him to want to come up to the level of the planters?
Yeah, you know, one of the things that I would love to happen to my listeners on this program, and I wish it to be part of my legacy, to help them, if they don't yet understand, to recognize that you very rarely see the things that you see are not the things you think you will see. There's a lot of things you don't see that you really would be amazed to see. How power operates in this world.
Yep.
And you'll be shocked to know some meetings that are held, some conversations that are held, some monies that are paid, and some people that are placed in position, all for power.
Yes.
All for power. That is why, sir, I'm not a believer in democracy. I don't think democracy is something that I think democracy should be measured based on people's awareness. I don't think that people who are unaware can effectively participate in governance, and governance have to do with voting. I don't buy that, and I think that Jamaica is a largely civic illiterate society, and a lot of civic teaching is required here, sir. Because if it was, this prime minister couldn't be treated like this, sir.
Yeah, and as you
sorry, not clearly 1 minute. There is clearly something that is not being said about how this prime minister. You can't investigate in a man for 4 years, sir. That makes sense to you?
Civilly, it does not make any sense. But because and as you were saying just now, in terms of, being that they remember the subject that we used to do in school. I don't know if during your time it used to be taught in school. Civics was a subject taught in school.
It's not only civic, sir. It is to be critical thinkers. We need to be interrogators of information. Jamaican people lap up everything they hear too much. Look at this third country national thing that come out, sir. And I hear sensible people talking rubbish. We are not interrogators of information, sir. We just take it and we think, say, so it go. Go so. There is what is called narrative framing in politics. Politicians plan this, Politicians employ psychiatrists and psychologists and philosophers to help them map out strategy. You think when you hear politicians come out with something, so I go, I what them want you to believe.
The narrative. They say the narrative because they know the narrative.
Yes, it's a marketplace. Nara is a positive thing for the government. All right, we didn't stop it in Parliament, or we're going to stop it in the people's mind. What are we talking about today? We're not talking about Nara.
Right? No, and they say, and that is one of the things is that because the majority of the people are and there's no disrespect, but the truth is just the truth. Because of the ignorance of a majority of the populace, that is why the PMP and I've said this elsewhere, the PMP capitalize on the ignorance of the people all the time. They understand how information works. They understand that aspect of politics is that all you want to do is to give the people a perception, and you give them it long enough, loud enough, and the people accept it as reality.
Something fascinating is happening in the Caribbean, sir. Barbados, they educate their students up to the university level. If you are a student in Barbados, you go to university for free. The state pays for it. That society has a literacy of about 98%. And do you know, sir, that for 3 consecutive elections, they have overwhelmingly voted in Mayor Motley?
Yep.
The idea that when you liberate people educationally, it don't benefit you politically is a lie. Is a lie. Okay? The idea that when you keep people in ignorance, they keep you in power, that is a lie. If a government performs in the interest of its people, the people are rational creatures. They understand and they will reward you, sir. They have done it in Barbados.
But and then again, and so you use Barbados as an example. So the people are educated. They are not only educated, they are also intelligent people, because there are a lot of educated people who are not intelligent. They don't go seek for information and use information in the way that information will benefit them. They say they're educated, but they just take what they hear. Because for the life of me, where are the educated people in Jamaica who, when they hear these things, don't seek to go and do the research and to ensure that what they are hearing is what it is a fact? and not just somebody want to tell them something in order for them to think a certain way. Because if somebody is thinking for you, you are educated, but you're not intelligent. Intelligent people think for themselves.
Yeah.
And so that is, and that is why we're seeing in Jamaica right now, where a conspiracy has been going on against the leader of your country, and there are those who you think would step back and say, no, man. Because look at it. Mr. Stevenson, he did the thing back way. Because as I heard Protecting Jay said just now, when he's doing an investigation, there are certain chain of commands that you need to follow. The FID must be involved in the initial part of the investigation. But this man tends to do it the other way around. He goes outside, get an independent forensic audit. Then after he did not get what he was looking for, then he and submit the report to Parliament, which is incomplete. Because when that report is submitted to Parliament, the Integrity Commission must complete all its investigation, submit the report to Parliament, and whatever action need to be taken will be followed after that. They are clear after it's submitted to Parliament. But no, you're going to tell them.
That's what the FID means when it says that they have not followed international best practices.
Exactly. Because they have an agenda. And the agenda is, so if you and look here, it would not be far-fetched if after they have tried to assassinate his character and it doesn't work, if they would want to assassinate his person. I know for some people they might think
that's a little stretch though.
Why you think it's a little stretch? Do you understand how socialism work and politics work?
Yeah, I don't want to think about that because I must tell you the truth. I saw a former Prime Minister of Jamaica. I went into a shop to buy a food. And when I look, I saw the former Prime Minister come up in the shop, order one food and sit down in there. No security, just in him shorts. Mm-hmm. And I said to myself, Jamaica is really not a bad country at all. That you could have a former Prime Minister just drive up into a normal restaurant, order food, sit down in there and eat it. Former Prime Minister. Last week or week before last, I saw the Prime Minister at a function, and I was observing his security details. And let me tell you something, sir. It's not very tight. And I said to myself, well, I don't know that there's anyone going to harm the Prime Minister because, he's just open to the public. He's just open to the public. And I think it has always been like this in Jamaica. And it's a good thing, sir. I really think it's a good thing. I don't think we have high security threats for our leaders.
And that's
not that it can happen.
And that's one of the things that but then that's one of the things that we enjoy and we need to protect that. However, when you look at what is happening, because look here, when you ask yourself the question, when you have a party and if the facts can be backed up that they would have in terms of their expense for the last election, which we are hearing some figures bandied about. If there's any truth to that, can you imagine that those monies need to pay back, because remember, when people make contribution to political parties, whether it be in Jamaica or anywhere else, they are looking for benefits down the road. And if people invest into the election, you convince them that you will be the next leader. Those monies need to be paid back because, and again, it is rumored that there are certain media houses in Jamaica who would have invested heavily into the election because they would have been convinced that the PNP would have come to power. So all of these things put together, people are saying, and when you look at it also too, the amount of money that is now available to the administration to build Jamaica, the party that is in opposition would want to have their hands on the purse string.
Not a problem. Yes, sir. They're gonna have to wait. They're gonna have to wait for for at least 4 years, and after that, I suspect they may have to wait for another 5 years. But I'm out of time, so I'm gonna have to leave it.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man. And while you run, I'd love for you to take up that to push that thing that protecting JSS. We need a petition, man, for the integrity commission to be recalled and disbanded, and we start something new, because this one
I think
certainly
civil
working in
society
the best interest.
should lead this process, and right here on the Politics Plus network, we're going to keep it on the agenda. I want to thank you, sir.
Keep up the good work, sir. Keep up the good work.
Take care of yourself. Great.
Yeah, man.
Bless your heart. I want to say to the folks over on YouTube, please go over to the Politics Plus Jamaica page and subscribe to that page. I beg you tonight to do that. Politics Plus Jamaica is the backup page. There is a very good reason to subscribe to that page. We're asking you, please, can you just subscribe when you log off, or you could go over there now at Politics Plus. It's on your screen, that page on your screen. Go and subscribe to it, please. We're going to be wanting you to do that for us. There are two persons on the Hello Neighbor TikTok page, Reginald Samuels and Michael Bauer. Want to say something, sir? Sirs? Good night? No. They don't have any. We don't have them. Okay. Member Harry?
Yes, neighbor.
Boy, I came to you earlier, but you were silent. We are out of time. You wanna pull it together for us and guide us out tonight, please.
Always, neighbor. Always a pleasure. Right? Just like every other night, we enjoy discussion, neighbor, with our neighbor rights. Many will say with the labor rights, but it is yet another successful night. It is one in which we are having riveting conversations, getting insightful perspectives, not from politicians, not from those at the highest helm in society, but also from the voices of the people, because we all represent the persons from different walks of life, as you want to put it. And it's a beautiful thing to see that it's a melting pot, once again, of these perspectives on issues that affects us. Doesn't matter where we are, whether locally, regionally, or in the wider diaspora. And this has brought us together. So I just want to thank everybody for coming out again tonight, on X, over there on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, of course. For the YouTubers and everyone else who is listening, like, share, and subscribe over there on the YouTube page. Tell a friend to tell a friend. And of course, keep on spreading the good news. Keep on having these conversations, because while right here may be a startup, it doesn't end here. It should continue and echo through the chambers of society, throughout every walks of life, and help us to build back that social fabric that Jamaica once had, and also make it better to what it can be. So again, thank everybody for coming out. Thanks for those who shared, the analysts, the callers that called in. It's been another wonderful night. I want to thank everybody else. Of course, our moderators, and I can say this, neighbor, with no contradiction, our beautiful moderators, because they're all females. So, they've been doing a lot of hard work. It's not easy to do. Of course, pick up Chef Freen again. Caroline, always here with us. Amazing ladies, neighbor. Man, them just have to go and hold that, no big up on yourself, all right. But the ladies have been at the forefront when it comes on to, the work that is being done. And I want to thank them as well, neighbor.
Excellent. Hold on there, member Harry. There's a caller on TikTok, Top Country 401. Good night. Good night, Top Country 401. No, he's not there. All right. So member,
yes, neighbor.
There's a call from our listeners, and many who are saying that the network ought to initiate something that would bring the country together to understand why there needs to be changes that the IC. Is it something you would be prepared to examine, member?
I'm always prepared to be of aid to anything that at least moves the needle for a better Jamaica neighbor. Of course, it will always take time and dedication. But of course, if we are the patriots that we say we are, we'll always find a way to make it happen.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Great night to you, member. Take care of yourself, and I'll catch you tomorrow.
Definitely, neighbor, and good night to everybody else as well.
Okay, fantastic. All right. So let me see what's happening here. Okay. So YouTube, thank you so much for tonight. Patreon and X, thank you. Join us again tomorrow at 7 o'clock, and we'll do this all over again for you. Have a great night. You hear? Bye-bye. All right, my